Hey everyone, Ashley here. I am a little tired, so I'm sorry if I'm seem a little out of it. This week, our discussion was all about cultural responsiveness, and to, I guess, define what cultural responsiveness is to me. I think really it's being aware of your own cultural identity and how it differs from others. I think it's being able to learn about and respect the norms, language, communication of other cultures, and building on top of that to bridge some gaps, working together with those norms. I think it's finding peace or comfort within the discomfort of having like courageous conversations around culture, because it can be very uncomfortable, and it's doing a lot of introspection and reflection and finding your own biases. And yeah, I think that's how I define that. Um, from here, I'll start with the characteristics that are identified as for being culturally responsive in schools. The first characteristic that I chose was number 10, and it describes this as educators who consider language and cultural customs in their interactions with parents. I think this kind of tied in with my definition, and it kind of lies at the core of cultural responsiveness. And this is where using communication with parents that they understand and that they know, and that they're familiar with, kind of shows them that you see them, you respect them, you value who they are enough to be educated and informed enough about how they communicate and how they work. I think that you can do this and by being using thoughtful language, being aware of your own biases, being aware of your own privileges, and understanding how that plays into the relationship with them. And I think this is how relationships are formed, and trust is built, which opens up that line for bridging, for bridging gaps and breaking down barriers that are there. So I think that this being okay, so a scenario, I guess, that I would say that I have or have not seen. Hypothetical, I would say, and actually no, for having seen it, there was a time when I was teaching, when I was really young, I was teaching in a school where I was definitely in the minority, and it was one of my first teaching jobs in the States. And I remember the population at the campus was largely African American, very diverse. I had no sense of cultural responsiveness at that time, and I had a lot of barriers with those families and with those students, and it was the hardest job to this day for me. And I reflect on that and think how different my relationships and a career at that time would have been had I known what I know now. I think that the students, I didn't have a lot of success with them, and yeah, so that's a situation, not hypothetical. The next one is number 11, high levels of parental involvement representing the diverse cultures found in the community, in the school community. I think this is like also another part of it for me that's really important, because this gives voice to parents and voice to these cultures and those who are on your campus and who are represented. It creates space for voice and hearing perspective and learning about creating learning opportunities and exposure to, and this can be done through campus community teams such as like PTA, Parent Teacher Association, the CAC, the Campus Advisory Council. I've seen this play out in my campus. We on our Campus Advisory Council, we have a very diverse population. We have parents from different sorry from diverse we have Indian parents, we have diverse sexual orientation parents, we have diverse religious traditions like that are on, although religion isn't a thing, but it is. But so I just think including people from everyone on those teams gives them voice within what is happening within the community, especially on the campus advisory, because that's where campus works with community, or parents and community, to discuss what's going well and what's not going well, and how things politically going on in the world are affecting the growth and development of the children, and they work together to create initiatives to provide knowledge and education around some of these things. So that's how it's played out well at my campus currently. And then the last one I chose is number 12, defines cultural diversity to include people with disabilities, diverse sexual orientations, diverse religious traditions, and a range of all ages, including older people. This is really important because it's like being inclusive of all people, including ones like people who aren't necessarily represented on your campus. Well, yes, it's great to support, to be definitely inclusive of what is represented on your campus. I think we don't want to stop there. We need to expand and create that for everyone. And it's not, culture isn't defined as just one thing, right? And diversity isn't just one thing. That's like in the name, it's diverse, it's very different. So having, yeah, I lost my train of thought, but providing education and opportunities for people from very diverse populations is necessary in order to be able to grow and to promote change for everyone. And then the last question is, according to my perspective and the given circumstances in our schools, do I think it would be easy or difficult to be culturally responsive? I have the privilege of working at a campus that is incredibly culturally responsive and does have, we do have a culturally responsive and restorative practices administrator that is housed on our campus. A lot of campuses in my district do, and we get professional development from her. She works directly with our students and our families and staff. So I think there's a lot of space for that in my school, and I've had the opportunities to go to professional development, to take part in a lot of those courageous, uncomfortable conversations, and to really be willing to reflect on my biases and how that plays a part in the relationships that I build and the space that I create for diversity. So I do think that it is, at this time, easy for me. Now I understand that that is depending, right, on a bunch. It's depending on leadership. It depends on the community within your school and what's available to you. So where I am, I do feel like that is quite easy, and I hope it continues to be. Thanks, guys.